What's up, gang? It's another video. Today we're going to be talking about The Last of Us, alright? And I'm going to talk about the one scene that pretty much ruined this show, alright? And let me tell you right now, this scene, funny enough, it actually started off pretty decent. I actually liked it at first. It was a change they made that I was like, okay, I want to see where they go with it, but I'm not too mad about it because I thought it had a great amount of potential given how things were getting set up. I thought that they were going to go a different way with it though, and when I realized that they weren't, it kind of made me go like, all right, bro, like, I'm not sure why you made this change in the first place then, if this is how you were going to, take it. So, what is the scene that I am talking about? Well, it is not really the scene, but it's the fact that Tommy was not with Joel, but instead Dina was. And here's the thing. The reason why at first I actually liked that was because I thought they were going to take Tommy's character and give him even more motivation as to why he would want to attack these people who went after Joel. And I thought that also gives a good way for Dina to have motivation, which it did in the show, give motivation for her to go after Joel's killers as well. Now here's the thing. It was going well at first until it didn't. Okay, and let me tell you why. Let me tell you why it would have been better if they would have went with the way I was thinking. Because the way I thought that it was going to go was that, Tommy finds out about his brother's death, and obviously he's going to be pissed off. Your man's going to be in this film. He's going to be, you know what I'm saying? He's going to be feeling some type of way about that. But the thing is, what would have been even crazier is if they somehow found out and traced the incident with Jackson to what was going on with Abby and them. So they traced it back to the fact that it was Abby who was the one that caused the whole avalanche. I thought they were going to go with that. I thought that, like, Abby was going to be, like, revealing something about, and Dina would tell them that, like, yo, it's because Abby and them were, like, doing a bunch of F stuff up on the mountains, and that's what caused the whole riot. And you know what I'm saying? And then this would give motivation for Tommy to be not only pissed that they killed his brother, but they also put everybody in the town in jeopardy. It would also allow for, again, Dina to have that needed motivation to go after Joel, because obviously in the games, she was a rat or death for Ellie, and that's cool. I was cool with it in the game, but if they give some more, reason in the show as to why she would have the motivation to go after these people too, you know what I'm saying? Do a 2v everybody, right? That's also cool. Like, I could see the vision with that. So I thought they were going to take that route. But instead, what I saw was the biggest character assassination in a minute that I've seen in a minute, okay? So, that is the scene. That is the scene that, like, kind of, it triggered everything to have a negative spiral, all right? Now, let's talk about the pros and cons, again, of the actual series, Season 2. Because, and again, as we're talking about the pros and cons, we're going to keep reflecting back to this moment, okay, with Dina being there instead of Tommy being there. We're going to keep reflecting back to this, okay? So, pros of the series. First 2 episodes, like I said, they were cool. I rocked with them. I really did. I was like, okay, I'm liking it. I'm liking the setup, you know what I'm saying? I didn't mind. We were taking our, like, the slow approach to building everything up. I know that they had the changes in the timeline and when we get certain events, the narrative of the story, right? So when Ellie and Dina had their kiss and Seth was being a dickhead, obviously in the game, that was something that happened a lot later on. In the story, they wanted to present that first. Listen, it's a different media. I completely understand why you changed some of this narrative around. That's cool with me. I didn't have no problem with that. I also didn't have any problem with them expanding on Seth's character either. That was cool with me too. Now, along with that, I actually liked how they handled Joel's death. I didn't like, again, the fact now, retrospectively, whatever that word is, you know what I'm saying? I didn't like how Tommy wasn't there, obviously, now, but during the time when I was watching it, I thought the way they handled the death was really great. They kept up with Joel being like, all right, bro, it is what it is, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you want to do it, do it. I love that attitude that they gave Joel. I love the fact that, Ellie came in, was swiping around, and I like that instead of knocking her out after they killed Joel, you know what I'm saying, they kicked her, but then they just left her, and she crawled over and, hugged on top of Joel after pulling, the what's called out his neck. That was cool. I actually really enjoyed that scene because it was, like, very impactful, very emotional. Cool. I was rocking with it, all right? Obviously, set design in general was amazing. The entire show looked great. Again, from a set design perspective, it looked like I was in the actual game. It was great. You know what I'm saying? Like, I had no issues at all with, like, you know, being immersed, at least visually speaking. Some of the acting, some of the, you know what I'm saying, some of the writing, kind of took me out the story, but for the most part, again, visually speaking, as I'm looking at the characters, how they're dressed and everything like that, I was pretty much bought in. The only thing that I can say was kind of like a little iffy was like Dina had like really nice flowy hair. You know, they had to make her actors look bad, so I'm like, I guess I get it, but at the same time, it's like, bro, we in a zombie apocalypse. You ain't supposed to be, you know what I'm saying, looking like you got Maybelline on standby. For the most part, yeah, it was cool. It was really cool. I enjoyed all those aspects of the game, and along with that, again, character building. We had a great flashback episode 6. That was a great episode. The only thing about it I didn't like, and we're going to start talking about the cons now. Only thing I didn't like about the flashback episode was the whole Eugene situation. Now, listen, don't get it twisted. I like when they expand on characters who we mentioned briefly. Back in the first season when they did that with Bill and Frank, that was cool. I didn't mind them changing that entire thing. Even though, you know, we didn't get to see the whole what was that called? Moments of like Bill and them going throughout the city and everything like that. And it was kind of like a flyover episode. I did enjoy the change, narratively speaking, for Bill and Frank's story, you know, because it fleshed those characters out amazingly. Eugene and the storyline and how they handled it, he was a cool character. I get how they, you know, I get they wanted to expand with Gail and all that stuff, and blah, 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 but I'm gonna be real with you, the more that I look on it, I don't care. I don't care, and the reason why is because Ellie's whole character was getting chopped up, and part of the reason that I didn't like Ellie's character, outside of, you know, what we're gonna talk about in a little bit, is the fact that she was not 100% in the know-all that Joel had actually killed all the Fireflies. You know what I'm saying? Like, the thing about the game that I really liked is that, you know, she went out, found out on her own that, you know, what really happened, and after finding out, that's when she was mad at Joel. And it makes sense, you know, because obviously there's something that's eating at her, and she goes to find out for herself. For her to just be, like, sitting on this for a long time, not sure, by the way, not sure, and then she sees that Joel lied to Gail, and then because of that, now she's pissed off at Joel, and like, it seems like she's pissed off for a good year or so. I don't know exactly in story how long it was. She was pissed off for a good minute, right? At least it seems that way. If not, and if she was only pissed off for a little bit of time, then it's like, also at the same time for me, it's like, I don't like that either, because to me, Ellie should have been asked about this situation. You know, what happened with the Fireflies and everything like that. Yeah, I would have much preferred her finding out the truth, because the thing is, if she found out and has been mad, but not 100% sure if she's valid in being mad, then it's kind of like you're being a little bit, what is the word? Unreasonable. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, the reality is he did lie. You know, that just is what it is. But in this case, Ellie isn't 100% sure that he lied. She just has a good idea that he did. So the fact that, like, she's treating him this way, and it's, like, not confirmed, it's like, all right, bro, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think it would have been better served for them to just stick with the original script in that regard, that she goes off, because they could have did it easily in the flashback episode. Heck, they could have even, you know what I'm saying, like, when he was taking her to, the amusement park and everything like that, they could have had a whole thing where, like, she had seen the Fireflies. I think, matter of fact, in the game, if I'm correct, it's been a while since I played it. I think I played it back when it first came out, right? So, was that 2020? Been 5 years, so forgive me if my memories are slipping. But if I'm remembering correctly, when they were in the, like, museum, that's when she found out, or had a clue that something had happened, right? Because she saw the Firefly emblem somewhere. So they could have did something like that. They could have, there's so many ways they could have easily just had us, or had Ellie, discover the truth. And I wish they would have done that instead of, again, having her find out the time when she confronted Joel and then forgiving him quickly like that. Because it's like, the reality is, you've been brewing on this for a minute, even though it's something that you can pretty much, like, I know it's true, but it's not 100% verified. That, like, it's not being verified, it's still something that's going to be a really big damaging blow when it is verified. And so for her to get over it very quickly, but still have been mad that entire time, you know what I'm saying? It just didn't feel right. Anyways, let's move on past that point. And we're just gonna get into all the cons, okay? So, number one, again, character assassination of Tommy and Ellie again. Okay, let's talk about Tommy first. Again, going back to the scene. Originally, I had thought Tommy was going to be like he was in the game, John Wicking it, going out catching bodies. Remember, in the game, Ellie and Dina were following the trail of bodies that this nigga Tommy had left behind. All right, remember that because he left out first. So in the game or in the show, it kind of makes Tommy feel. I'm like he ain't a you know what I'm saying, he ain't like a bitch or anything like that, but he's just not what he was. I'm gonna tell you that much. He ain't what he was. Especially, you know what? Nah, I'm not. You know what? He's not even a badass. He's not even because like I was thinking, oh, well, you know, we took down the bloater, but even then, he was like showcasing. He was like, you know, hiding away, like afraid or whatever. You know what I'm saying? In the actual game, Tommy had a different energy. All right, he was reckless. He was dumb. He didn't care. He was a crash out mode, and I was ready for that. Ready for that to happen in the game or in the show, but they didn't do that. In fact, here's the funny part. I thought that when they showcased that Tommy was actually going to be, you know, helping the town out and everything, I thought they were going to add even more of a crash out for him because I thought with the way they were going to handle it was that somehow Dina was going to put two and two together that, what's her name? Abby was the one that really caused the avalanche. I thought after, you know, that revelation comes out, Tommy's going to be like, oh, so not only did they kill my brother, but they also ended up, you know, wrecking the town. Like, so I thought because of that, Tommy would, like, you know, he'd be feeling some type of way and like, I need justice. And he would go and bring that justice, okay? I thought that was how they were going to handle it, but they didn't. They didn't. What did they do instead? They made Tommy try to appeal to the council. And then, like, I thought when the council had said, nah, we not really rocking with it, I thought Tommy was going to be like, okay, well, you know, fuck it then. I'm going to do my own thing. He didn't do it, though. No, he came to go and help Ellie, which not only kind of makes Tommy's character kind of feel like a pussy. I ain't going to hold you because it's like, that's your brother and everything like that. In comparison, again, in comparison to his game counterpart, because, you know, in the show, he has a kid, understandable. Yada yada, but in the game, Tommy was not to be played with, and I just don't get that same sentiment or feeling in the show version. Okay. Number two, Ellie's character assassination. Here's the even worse part. Ellie's character was assassinated also from the scene. Weirdly enough, how so? Because all of the feeling, sentiments, and how do I say this? Honestly, character traits that we see from Ellie that we like in the game kind of are given to Dina in a way, right? Like the motivation to go after these people. I mean, obviously Ellie is motivated. She's showcasing that she wants to go kill these people, but it's Dina that like really be putting the battery in her back. I ain't gonna hold you. Like there were many moments where like Ellie was second guessing herself, and the thing is, like this is not. At least it's not those moments when she's supposed to feel that way. You know, Ellie really ain't supposed to care until like damn near after she killed Mel, right? Like it's only until and even when she's killing Mel, she don't care for real. It's just she found that she was pregnant. She's like, oh, whoa, you know what I'm saying? Like that was supposed to be the whole whoa, crazy, right? In the show, Ellie don't really get her heart in it. She don't be caring half the time. You know, she be joking too much. She ain't as dark. She's not as what is it called? Not stoic. Stoic isn't the right word, but like mature maybe. That might be the right word. She's not as mature as her like, you know, video game counterpart. You know, in the show, Ellie still feel like she a 14-year-old girl just playing around. You know what I'm saying? She seems incompetent. Dina's the one who really has all the competency. She's the one that's leading them around. She's pretty much telling Ellie, hey, listen, you just gonna run and be reckless. You're stupid. And Ellie's like, yeah, you know, I'm stupid. Like, no, Ellie's not stupid. She's just not, bro. She's not. She's been with Joel, You know what I'm saying? Like going through the trenches. She's seasoned. She's a seasoned veteran with this. Okay. And now here's the thing. Ellie in the game is reckless at times. Don't get it twisted. She can be reckless, but it's not from incompetency. It's coming from a place actually of very high confidence. And the thing is, most situations that Ellie will find herself in, she knows how to get out of it. For the most part. Obviously, there's every once in a while a random situation that might occur that, you know, she might need a little bit of assistance, especially against Abby, because Abby was beating the brakes off her at the end. I remember that. I remember that. So wait for season 3, because we won't, you know what I'm saying? Look. But, the point that I'm making right now is that Ellie was not this incompetent character that didn't know how to, you know what I'm saying, not tie her shoelaces and whatever. Obviously, I'm being facetious when I'm saying that, but in the show, it just felt like Ellie was just in the way for real. Like she wasn't nearly catching as many bodies as she was in the game. Obviously, this is a show. You're not going to have that, but I didn't feel like she really killed anybody for real. Like who she killed? She killed the one WLF dude, right? And then she killed Nora. That was a pretty good scene. I ain't gonna lie. I liked that whole scene. That was cool. But then after that, what was it? Mel and Owen? And even with Mel, they kind of gave her escape. Like, oh, she didn't really mean to kill Mel. Oh, it was just an accident because Owen was being a dickhead. No, in the game, she was purposely, no, come here, give me that knife. In your neck. She was about it. And like, that's just not really being shown. And that's a problem. It's a problem for real. Because the thing is, what this does to Ellie is it makes, again, her not only incompetent, but it also takes away from the narrative or the story that they're trying to tell you. Which, here's another big gripe I've had with this story. The story is supposed to be about why revenge, you know, only brings more revenge, and at the end of the day, it's just a pointless cycle that leaves everybody broken, dead, or, you know, spiritually or mentally, like, deficient. Is that, you know, I feel like that's like a good way to describe it, right? The problem here, though, is that in the show, they're not just like, you know, letting you figure that out. They're just screaming it in your face. To the point where, like, I believe it was episode 3, where I realized this and I was like, all right, bro, this is where I started, like, losing a little bit of that momentum I had, you know, from episode 1 and 2. Because 1 and 2, I was like, okay, this is cool. We're wrapping up. Episode 3, I was like, all right, and we're starting to fall off. And again, it's not because of Joel's death, but that town episode where, like, we had the town hall meeting, which, by the way, I love Seth's speech. I thought Seth's speech was great. But the fact is, as much as I liked Seth's speech, I feel as though we shouldn't have had this conversation to begin with. Personally speaking. Why? Because the dude that was like, you know, these people came in and if we go and attack, you know, we're no better, and all, you know, that whole speech was like, this is something that's supposed to be understood and digested from the audience in an unspoken way. Like, we're just supposed to get it. And it feels as though the directors don't think we're smart enough as people to kind of pick up on that, you know, on that messaging. Like, it feels like everything's just being screamed to us. That's why, like, when Ellie brings up, you know, maybe I'm not supposed to do this, maybe this is, when she's doing that constantly, it's like, bro, like, I understand where they're going with it. I understand why they're doing it, because, like, that's part of Ellie's character. Ellie's character is supposed to start feeling bad and feeling this way, but at the end of the day, dude, like, it's not supposed to be just hand plated to us, right, on a silver platter. Here's the messaging right here, right on the silver platter. Wait, no, look right here. This is the message. Like, no, bro, like, it's supposed to be, I'm watching and I'm inferring what Ellie's thinking, and Ellie might make a nod to it, and that nod will give me further insight. Like, I'm smart enough to pick up on the clues that you're laying out. Just do the groundwork. Let me do the rest, all right? You don't gotta, like, hand feed me everything, because it makes you feel like the audience is incompetent, just like how they made Ellie, right? So, those were the big gripes, big gripes. Another character that they kind of assassinated was Jesse. But, to be fair with you, Jesse's character wasn't assassinated per se. Alright? It wasn't assassinated per se. He just wasn't. He was kind of an ass. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and in the game, like, they made Jesse really cool. They made him really likable because he was a ride or die for Ellie. And obviously, in the game we had a decent amount of time around him, but overall he wasn't like a big character in the game. You know what I'm saying? Like he had a lot of screen time, but that's just because the game was long. But in reality, he didn't have as much screen time on the game if you look at it as a holistic perspective. The thing is, though, that time that we got with them, we showcased that they were true friends. The entire time he was around, he was all, gung-ho to help out Ellie and all his friends, help out Tommy. Obviously, they had that disagreement where Ellie wanted to go after Abby, and Tommy was like, nah, bro, we got to go and help Tommy, blah, blah, blah. But for the most part, they showcased that Tommy really did care about Ellie, and they really messed with each other. And the show, they did not do that justice until the moment right before he died. And that kind of ruined his character for me, because even though, if I'm being completely honest with you, I kind of was siding with this dude. I kind of was siding, because it's like, yo, you got the girl over here, she pregnant with my kid, you know what I'm saying? And you dicking around trying to go after these people, trying to catch all these bodies, you putting us in danger right now. I got to protect my kid. I get that. 100%, honestly, like 100%, I kind of get that. But also at the same time, it's like, because we're following Ellie's perspective, and also because we don't really get too much, time with Tommy, or not Tommy, with Jesse. He kind of comes off as a dick, because again, like, it's just the perspective of who we're following. Like, if I'm looking outwardly, I can see Jesse's probably in the right, but again, I'm following Ellie's story, so for me, now he's going against the plot of, like, the motive of what we want to do, and it's like, all right, well, you're being a dickhead now, right? And you came out here to help us, so you care about us. Anyways, so, yeah, they kind of just are dicking around with the characters and messing, the relationships that these characters have with each other. And, like, here's another thing. Actually, going back to Ellie's character, because I wanted to touch on this, too, the whole baby thing. Am I the only one who cringed when Ellie was like, I'm gonna be a dad? I looked up, apparently I saw the what is his name? The director was actually really happy about this scene. I was really excited. Apparently, like, the actress who played Ellie was really excited about it too. I'm not sure how accurate that was. I did see that he was at least seeming like he was happy about it. Terrible change, bro. I don't know what you were happy about, because, like, that shit, it made no sense whatsoever. Because here's the thing, bro. Ellie is supposed to be 100% only consumed with rage and vengeance right now. That's her whole MO right now. She's gun-ho to go get Abby. So the fact that, like, you have this chick who's supposed to be gun-ho about killing this chick Abby, acting like this, going, oh my god, cracking a bunch of jokes, being cool with the fact that Dina's pregnant, even though they're in a, place that's an ongoing war between two different factions, and you're trying to kill some people in one of these factions, right? Like, it just felt like I was taken out of that moment. Like, are we not in a moment of danger right now? Are we not? Like, what is going on? Why are you so excited about this? Why are you so happy? And what do you mean I'm going to be a dad? It's like, it felt weird. It just felt weird. You know what I'm saying? It didn't feel like Ellie. And it took me out of the moment, because, again, it just feels like her character just be flip-flopping on how she's supposed to be acting. Especially given the fact that, like, she's, oh, am I supposed to kill Abby? Oh, is this really right? Well, Joel did, oh, am I supposed to do this? Oh, no, I'm going to kill Abby. I'm going to kill her. I'm going to kill her. Oh, no, but is it right to do that? Oh, is it right to do it? No, I'm going to kill her. I'm going to kill her. It's like, all right, bro, like, it doesn't work. It don't work. It don't. So, those are my biggest gripes. And again, it all ties back partially to how they handled Joel's death. Especially, again, when it comes to Dina's character, and how they basically, like, kind of give her all the motivation to go out and kill, instead of, I don't know, bro, like, I'm not saying Ellie don't have the motivation, because she obviously does, but, man, like, it's like, she's supposed to be the one driving this. Dina over here giving her story, like, Ellie in, like, 3-4 times and asked, yo, should we go back? Should we go back? Why do you keep asking? Like, if anything, Dina's supposed to be the one that's like, hey, maybe we should, if I'm being completely honest, but no, like, she was the one putting her battery in the back. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm just rambling at this point. That's kind of the reason why I didn't like season 2 of The Last of Us. Again, it was going to be difficult because I know like everybody was already going to like hate on it just for the fact that Joel died. But you know, I think the way they handled it in the game was decent. There could have been things that they could have changed in the game that would have made it a little bit better for me. But at the end of the day, it's like it was so much better than this. I tell you that much. It was a lot better than this. But yeah, man, go ahead and let me know what y'all think in the comments. Go ahead and like, subscribe the video if you want to see more content like this, and I'll catch up with y'all in the next video. Peace.